Hello, and welcome to Situaseans podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Williams, aka Shawnee Do. You can call me Sean, Shawnee, Shawnee Do. Doesn't matter to me. All I know is I'm glad y'all are here. Episode 3. This podcast is continuing to grow. More and more of you are listening. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for those of you that are just tuning in, sharing the podcast, and engaging with us on social media. Yeah, looking at all the videos and the short clips and everything, and just interacting with the online content. The content is there online for you guys to get engaged and feel the content. Be one with the content. Share the content. You see, that's what helped this podcast grow. You all just going out there, sharing it, telling your friends, family, anybody that you think that will find value in this podcast, like just sharing it, share. Even if you don't think they'll find value in this podcast, I can promise you this, they will definitely find value in this podcast. You want to know why? Because this podcast is for everybody, because we all go through stuff. And, this podcast is about mental health, relationships, dating, and life experiences. So we cover all that, and we all go through all these different phases of life. So, hey, that's why this podcast exists. And I'm just glad that you guys are just, getting so involved and just sharing it. So keep on doing that and keep on submitting your stories. I need more stories. Come on, share all your anonymous stories. All right. Situationspodcast.com/submit. There's so many ways to do it. So come on, send me your stories, and we'll continue engaging we'll continue unpacking it all on the show. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about the dating app environment. And as for those of you who know, and those of you that are on dating apps, you all know it's the wild, wild west out there. You never know what you're going to get, especially in this oversaturated market in the dating apps where you find all kinds of people from different walks of life, people that are serious about dating, people that aren't serious about dating. You get the fake bots, on some of these dating apps. And then now that we're in the future, 2023, now we got AI. So now you got AI bots and just different AI profiles. It's a whole thing. But anyway, so we're going to be talking about dating apps and avoiding fuckboys. So we got a lot of good stuff ready for you. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. So first, I kind of want to talk about, my last week in dating. And there's been a lot going on. I just feel like, as though, those of you that know about my relationship status, of course, I'm single, just out there dating, just trying to find a life partner, taking it day by day, not trying to rush into anything, of course. And I want to be mindful about the connections and the experiences that I have out here on these apps. So just trying to take it slow, not trying to serial date like what I was doing in the past. Like I said in the previous episode, I've been going on dates. In the past, I was going on dates of about 3 or 4 dates a week, and that shit adds up. So I'm trying to be more mindful about it so that I can focus on each date and not be worried about, okay, now who do I got a date with on Friday, and who I got this date with on Saturday? No. Now Shawnee's taking it back. Shawnee's doing maybe about 1 to 2 dates every other week and just pacing myself. So right now I'm on Hinge, I'm on Coffee Meets Bagel, and I'm on Bumble. Of those 3, I definitely like Hinge the most. I feel like there's so many authentic people, or at least that's what I'm experiencing on Hinge. And Coffee Meets Bagel, it's some, I guess I get a couple matches on there, but I feel like Coffee Meets Bagel, there are a lot of conservative, not right-wing conservative. Maybe they are. I don't fucking know. But I'm just saying, I find a lot of more so Christian conservative matches that I at least get on Coffee Meets Bagel. And I feel like, our values may not align and stuff like that. I am a believer in Christ and I do believe in God, but I don't force my opinions or I don't enforce my religion on other people. And I feel like matches that I've had in the past were very like that. Like, oh, you should be doing this and you should be spreading the word to everybody. And, and it's like, I don't want to kind of get too deep into like the whole religion and I guess like your self beliefs and stuff like that. I definitely want to have an episode catered to that, but I don't want to, I guess, take up the entire episode talking about that. But I'm just saying, just from a very high level standpoint, I feel like I was matching with a lot of very conservative Christian women. And I feel like that's just not really me or my type as far as like what I really want and matches like that. I don't really mind or care whether or not somebody does or doesn't believe in God or like overall, or if they have a religion or not. Who am I to judge? I just want somebody that I can connect with on a very intellectual and a very emotional and a very loving matter as we, build that foundation. But I'm just saying, as far as the experiences that I've had with a lot of very, very, very conservative Christian women, I felt like just for me, it just wasn't for me. But again, everybody has their own preferences. I just know that Coffee Meets Bagel, that was kind of one thing that was a little tricky to kind of navigate and try to find a connection in because, again, everyone just has different ideologies. And so Coffee Meets Bagel, I'm probably the least active on. But so as far as Bumble, I feel like Bumble's pretty good, and I get a pretty good amount of matches on Bumble here and there. But I don't really use Bumble as much as I used to. I used to get a lot more dates on Bumble, but yeah, Hinge is definitely the top of my list right now. Whereas I'm finding these matches and just going on dates and just seeing what works and seeing who I connect with and who I don't. And just taking it day by day. So my last week in dating in general was pretty interesting. I went on a date with somebody that I met from Hinge and, we had a lot of fun. She's a very, just open and charismatic, intelligent person. And I think we definitely hit it off pretty well on that first date. And our schedules are a little bit opposite because she's, she travels for work. And then me, my work doesn't really require travel. So I'm kind of here. And it's definitely an interesting, dynamic, and just trying to make time for the second date. And so, we got a date coming up in about a week and a half or so. And I think it'll definitely be fun. But it's just our schedules are opposite because, again, she travels for work. And then my schedule's opposite because right now I'm in a show. So trying to navigate rehearsing for that and making time for, going out on a date. And then again, trying to make time for this person that I just met on a dating app. So just trying to navigate it all. And it's kind of crazy because some of my friends have been asking, hey, how do you manage your day job? Also, now you got a podcast. So I got that going on. And then, doing back-to-back shows. So I'll do after I finish one musical, I'm on to the next musical, on to the next, and so on and so forth. And then I do music as well. So I'm working on a couple of Shiny Do tracks right now. So got all that going on. And then, trying to still make time for friends. So it's how do you manage all that, Sean? And whenever my friends ask me that, I pretty much just tell them, honestly, I don't even know how I'm managing. All I know is I'm just trying to do my best and just make time for each of those individual spaces that I, kind of put myself in. So if you're really passionate about something, you try your best to make sure that you're evening out that time in those different avenues that you're part of. So, and that was another thing that we mentioned in the last episode, how to manage your time and how to manage the different circles in your life. So that's something that I'm doing and actively doing myself. And, it's easier said than done a lot of times, but I'm just doing me and just making the best of my life. And just try my best to live my best, full, honest, authentic life. So dating apps have really taken off in the last decade or so, especially with Hinge, Tinder, we got Bumble, Coffee Meets Bagel, Raya, The League, all these different apps that there's like a long list of just dating apps that we're all on or that we all know of or that have experienced in or have once been on and then deleted. But anyway, apps have really exploded in the last decade. And that just comes with the territory of, technology. And so there were the foundational dating apps like you got eHarmony, Match.com, like the very first ones that a lot of older, millennials and maybe Gen Xers and even some of our parents' generation were on. So, baby boomers. But anyway, so all these foundational apps like that I just talked about, some of those websites, and even OkCupid was actually a whole website before, it was like a full-on mobile app like these other dating apps that we have. But anyway, so all these different apps, it definitely, like with technology and how the world works, we're always going to have the next big thing, the next big thing, the next big thing, the next app, so on and so forth. But it's just so crazy how in such a short amount of time, so many technological advances have happened, especially in a dating app environment. And I think that's what makes it so hard and so complex in a dating world, because it's like, there's so many different options now. It's like, if I find one thing wrong with this person, like let's say this person chews while they eat and you could it's like an audible chew. And I don't like that. Well, you know what? I'm going to just X that person off and just go to the next dating app because I got 20 apps on my phone and I'm not going to waste my time with this one flaw that a person has. And see, that's kind of where it makes it a little bit complex and it makes it hard to appreciate what you have or appreciate being in the moment on those dates, because you're just so focused on that one little thing, that one little tiny detail that you just couldn't get past. And now you're on to the next. And then next thing you know, you're on all these different dating apps. And then you're just like, wait a minute, why am I not finding any matches? Like, why am I still single? Or why is it that a lot of people aren't reaching out to me or not really making an effort to be with me or make an effort to do this or that? And it's like, well, you're on all these different dating apps. You're not really taking it serious because you find one little flaw with somebody or that you didn't like. And now because you have options, now you're just cycling through the entire, I guess, Rolodex of people that you have in your match queue. So you have to be mindful in today's dating app environment, especially with, again, everybody has options. So you want to make sure that you are really giving it a second or a third thought, like, is this one small, this one little small thing that they have, whether it's chewing loudly or maybe they talk too much or whatever, can you just evaluate within yourself and say, okay, is this really a big deal, or can I get past that? Is that like, do I like this person enough to see past that one little flaw that they have? And you might be listening to this and thinking, wow, Sean, so that example that you're giving, is that something that you do or something that you found in another person? Nope. I'm just really just throwing out an example to kind of just level set and give you an understanding as to what I'm talking about, as far as like, a small little, I guess, thing that the average person would find annoying in somebody. So I'm just giving like an open-ended example, but you have to be very mindful about the people that you surround yourself with and the people that you want to go on these dates with. And then once you get on these dates and stuff, again, take a step back and be like, okay, that one little thing, I can get past that because this person has, this going on for them. This person got their life together. This person is so smart. This person's funny. This person actually cares. This person is making a plan, especially if it's a guy, because ladies, you have told me over and over via, I guess, DMs that I've gotten in, and even like my women identifying friends have said, yeah, I am so tired of men not making plans. So, if you find a guy who's making plans and is active and is just really putting in the effort, that might be a keeper. So, you may want to keep that person in your back pocket. But yeah, so anyway, just getting back to it, with the oversaturated market of all these dating apps, and then along came Tinder in 2012, like when dating apps are really starting to like really pop off. That just created one open, wild, wild west of, hey, I'm just here to fuck, or I'm just here to have these no strings attached type of relationships. And now Tinder has evolved a little bit past that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, everyone still thinks of it as the hookup app. And yeah, I will admit, I myself have had some rendezvous via Tinder. So I get it. I'm not here to judge anybody, but I'm just saying, at the end of the day, once Tinder started to really pop off and everyone was using it, and it kind of created, that whole dating app environment of, well, do people really want relationships, especially men? Because now men have found this app where there are a lot of other people on these apps that want to hook up. So now where are we, or where is this guy in the whole dating spectrum? Where is he on his journey? Is he still in the, I just want to have fun, no consequences stage? Or is he like, I don't care about anybody, I just want to have all the fun and then fuck whoever else I hurt, and then, along the way, with AKA that's a fuck boy? Or are they, okay, they're trying to figure out their dating goals and they're trying to be mindful about the people that they interact with? And, or let's take it to like one extreme past that, is especially in heterosexual relationship standpoints. What if there's a guy who's like, yeah, actually, like, I take that back. Like, not even heterosexual. Let's just say whatever that person identifies as. Like, what if the guy is like, okay, I really want to settle down and get married and have kids, the whole nine. Like, so there's a whole different spectrum of where most male identifying individuals can be along in their dating journey. And the same thing for women, because there are women out there that's just like, well, I just want to have fun right now because I just got out of a relationship. Or maybe there's a woman like, hey, I'm trying to figure out my dating goals and not sure I really know what I want yet, but I know once I continue to hang out with this guy or the girl or whoever it is that person is into, once they build that connection in that relationship, now they're like, okay, I think I'm starting to understand what I really want in a partner. And then same thing. What if it's now like that woman or non-binary, depending on whatever it is that person identifies as. Now, what if they're in their journey like, okay, now I really want to settle down. I want to have kids. I want the white picket fence in the suburbs type of, I guess, life. So we are all on different places in our dating lives. And that's why it's so important to just be upfront and just be yourself on these dating apps and just really, really be open and transparent with what you want so that you're not wasting other people's time and you're not wasting your time. So it's, again, a very complex environment with these dating apps, but we gotta be true to ourselves and we gotta speak our truth and let others know what it is we want in a potential life partner. Because, hey, life is short and it's important to enjoy those moments and enjoy the company and the people that you have in your life, because you never know how long that person has. And same thing with yourself. You don't know how long you're going to be here on this earth unless you can predict the future. So you got to make the best of your time, and you got to make the best of the situation that you're in, and be honest. So really think about that. Now, this is something that's interesting. So I've been on, again, Hinge, Bumble, Coffee Meets Bagel, all these other dating app profiles. And I've never seen, or rarely, if ever, have seen a woman put on her profile like, I'm just looking for something casual and nothing past that, no strings attached. It's so rare that I find that in women's profile that I look at whenever I'm on these dating apps, as far as my preferences. And then there's guys on their dating app profiles, regardless of what their sexual preferences are. I have seen way more guys put, I'm just looking for something casual, nothing too serious, as far as like these dating app profiles that my friends have shown me for guys that they're into. I'm like, dang. So as far as like the male to female ratio of who's putting more, I just want casual on my profile, or like on their profile, it's way more guys putting that shit on there than women putting that. And it's not that surprising, only because, again, with a lot of these dating apps and with the whole thing with Tinder and that whole revolution, a lot has really kind of come into play. But at the same time, I think it's very commendable for the men out there that do put, I just want casual on their profile, because it's like, okay, well, at least, you can just swipe left and you don't have to worry about that person. And now you can find people and filter people out, that fit what it is you're looking for. And that's the beauty of dating apps. And that's another thing too, because a lot of these dating apps, you can filter out like the person that you're into, like as far as like their religion, their age preference, height preference, social status as well. Again, like whether they want a relationship or not. And, the list goes on. And now there's some dating apps where you can like filter out race and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh, whoa. And that's a very like controversial topic right there, but that's something that I definitely want to unpack in an episode. If you want me to unpack the whole filtering out by race and dating apps, let me know. Like shoot me a DM, or DM the show, DM me. Like, let me know if you want me to talk about that, because I'm happy to. Like, this is your podcast. You are the listener that is supposed to be letting me know like what it is you want to hear about on this show. So, not to go off on a side tangent, but again, happy to talk about these things. You just got to let me know what it is you want me to talk about. So, yeah. So getting back into it, definitely am seeing a lot and hearing a lot more men put on their profiles that they just want casual. And then, of course, I've had situations of good friends of mine that have dated guys on dating apps that have put just want casual. And then they come back and let me know, it didn't work out with that guy, or that guy was just like, a complete dick or whatever. It was like, and I'm like, dang, I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm just like, well, did you tell him what, you wanted on your, on your profile or on that date? And very few of them will say, we definitely had that conversation, but he just wanted to fuck or whatever. And I should have known because it was on his profile. I'm just like, you got to watch out for whatever it is that they're putting on their profile as far as what they want. Cause it's going to be kind of hard to change the mind of somebody that just wants casual. Because if it's almost like reverse psychology in a way. Like if somebody just wants casual and you're trying to like get them to lean more towards being exclusive or being in a relationship, they're just gonna be like, oh no. She's trying to like lock me down or what? Nah, I'm good. I gotta jump ship and go on to the next. So yeah, it's definitely a tricky environment, and you just got to navigate it as best as you can. With these dating apps, at the end of the day, a lot of people just saw it as a quick, instant sexual gratification, and just to say, hey, I really was interested in that person, and I got my rocks off, and now it's on to the next. So these apps, they can be a scary place sometimes, or a very weird place to be in. So if you're on a dating app and you're not sure what it is you want in your relationship or what it is you want in a potential life partner, I highly recommend you take time to yourself and think about that. And again, you should talk with somebody that kind of has an idea of what it's like to be in a healthy relationship. Like, we all know somebody who's in a healthy relationship. So maybe try to get advice from them or talk to your therapist. I highly recommend counseling, therapy, woo woo. So yeah, there's so many people that you can talk to and try to get that advice, and before you, I guess, take that leap into the deep waters of the dating app environment. Overall, especially in the heterosexual environment, there are a lot of women that care more about having that emotional connection and that intellectual connection with the guy first before they can conceptualize a more intimate relationship. And then with guys, it's a little bit vice versa. A lot of guys kind of need that, I guess, for lack of better words, that sexual kind of attraction to a woman before they can really start to think about the emotional connection, and even just try to think about, exclusivity down the line, so on and so forth. It's a little tricky because men and women are just wired so differently. It doesn't matter what you identify as, or it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is, but with men and women and even non-binary, like, everyone is just wired so differently. So you have to really kind of think about that and kind of, for lack of better sense, for lack of better words, try to like navigate with what is presented in front of you. And there's like a saying, I can't really think of it at the top of my head, but it's almost like, when someone tells you about themselves, believe them, kind of thing. So it's like, if a guy is presenting himself as a fuckboy, or presenting himself as, you can't really get the vibe, or you're not even sure what it is he wants, it's better to just believe that, because it's like, okay, well, if you know that this guy might not even know what he wants, or he's presenting like this fuckboy energy, it's better to just at least assume that until he can show you otherwise, and vice versa. So we're all kind of, wired differently, but kind of just getting back to it. Yeah. A lot of heterosexual men are just, really, really more so into having that physical, intimate connection before they can jump to the emotional connection. And I don't necessarily know why that is for like a lot of men. I'm not a licensed psychiatrist or anything like that. But just from a general standpoint, that's just kind of how a lot of men were wired, especially just think about like TV and media. Is like you see the athletes, or you see like these very, alpha male stereotypes, or just like these men in power, these men that just have very I guess, just very lavish lives and just have things going on for them, whatever. And it's like, oh, that guy gets all the girls. And you see it in shows, oh yeah, the jock, he always gets all the girls and stuff like that. And so it's, it does have a lot to do with society. And then sometimes it can deal with what it is that's going on in that person's home environment. Like, think about a lot of, dads and grandfathers and so on that kind of pushed on those values, or kind of like, I guess, elevated those types of stereotypes or archetypes onto their sons and so on and so forth. Be like, if you think that girl is hot and if she likes you too, then you guys should try it out, or don't lock yourself down. Like, have all the fun in college and stuff like that. Like sleep with all the beautiful women and explore the world before you settle down. And so a lot of it is kind of like intertwined with some of like, the teachings of a lot of, men in their family. And then again, kind of like what society and what TV and media is showing us, all the athletes, all the superstars and all the, musicians getting all the girls and stuff like that. So it definitely creates a little bit of a toxic environment, so to speak. And we have to kind of stray away from those old school values and pretty much remind our young youth that, hey, it's cool to be with somebody or like somebody based off like that character and stuff like that, or based off of, a lot of people, have that attraction based off of looks first. Like, it's okay. We all have those different types of attraction levels and attraction type of auras about us, but you have to make sure it's not toxic, where it's not going to harm the other person in the end, because that's kind of what happens in a lot of these situations. It's just like, especially with fuckboys, if you get a guy that comes over and just like, I think this girl is hot. If she gives me a chance, I'm definitely going to hit. And then, I'm going to hit and quit and not even worry about it. Like, we got to get out of that mindset. We got to start thinking about, the other person's feelings in the end. And I think that's what causes a lot of, I guess, fucked up dynamics in relationships, because there's men out there that don't care, and the same thing, there's women out there that don't care. So we gotta try to find some way to undo all of those old teachings from like previous generations, and at the same time, try to come at this from a different perspective of, hey, that person, has something going on for them, and they got a good character, about them, and they seem like a warm person. Yeah. And I'm a decent person. Yeah. Maybe we can definitely hang out sometime and see if there's something there. So it's all about perspective and how you approach it. And there are a lot of guys that care about looks in the beginning. And again, it all goes back to reality TV and all these other outlets and what society is pushing on us. I mean, look at the Netflix shows like Too Hot to Handle, or even like Love Island and all these other different shows. It's like, of course, it's kind of led on attraction levels first, and then in some cases you have shows like Love is Blind, where it's like you don't even get to see that person. Now you're connecting on a more intellectual type of, environment. And so even situations like those and shows like those, I feel like it creates almost more of an authentic connection, because it's like, now you're thinking and you're falling in love with somebody, up here and in here, instead of just down here. So, and, looks wise. So it's definitely new territory just seeing shows like these, especially Love is Blind. And I don't know if I could ever go on Love is Blind. Like, I feel like I would definitely do it. I guess, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like in the middle, if you ask me, because I definitely want to connect with somebody, with the, especially like emotionally, and intellectually, but not being able to see somebody or just have have that one-on-one and see me. I can kind of sometimes tell a little bit about somebody just by looking into their eyes and seeing how they connect with me, seeing how we interact with each other, because I'm a person who just notices people by how they carry themselves. And so a lot of times I can kind of pick up on someone's authenticity, just by seeing them in person and just seeing how they go about and interact. And it's a little hard to see that or, experience that from behind a wall. So it is a little tricky. It would definitely be something new because I've never dated somebody completely blind like that. So I would probably do it, but it would definitely be new uncharted territory that I just wouldn't know how to necessarily navigate. And I would just definitely be a little bit afraid of, hey, can I open up like that to somebody that I've never met and never even seen? So yeah, it's definitely interesting. And kind of just drilling down a little bit more, I feel like the way your dating app is set up and how you lay out your profile and the pictures that you use and the dating app prompts that you use, that will determine whether or not you're going to get a like or somebody swipes right on you, or whether or not that person hits X or swipes left on you. So, so it's like, you have to be mindful about how you build your profile. And what I like about Hinge, again, Hinge is definitely way more interactive and you get a little bit more flexibility on how you present yourself on the dating app. And I'm not sponsored by Hinge, but I swear sometimes I wish I was sponsored by Hinge. Hinge, if you're listening and you catch wind of this, sponsor Situaseans podcast, because personally, I use your app. I love your app. I think it's great. And I feel like it's a really good app for finding a connection to eventually lead to deleting the app. So Hinge, hit a brother up. So as far as how you're presenting your profile, that's going to determine whether or not someone's going to like that profile or say no, on to the next. So you got to make sure that the pictures that you're using, the prompts that you're using, kind of align with, not even kind of, it has to align with who you are and what you do and where you're at in your life. Don't use a picture from like 10, 15 years ago. Don't use only photos of you at the beach in a bikini or just pictures of you at the gym, and this is for everybody. I'm not, it doesn't matter who, what gender, what race. I'm talking like, this is advice for everybody. Like, don't just put thirst trap photos on your profile, because that's all you're going to get are people DMing you or sending you messages based off of what you're presenting yourself. So if it's just nothing but like you showing off your abs or showing off you at the gym or just showing off you at the beach and in your swimwear, whatever, like, of course you're going to get people saying, hey, what's up, sexy? Like, hey, can I hit that? Hey, like, I'd love to have you on the beach late at night, wink, wink, etc. So you got to really watch how you present yourself on these dating apps, because that's going to trigger certain responses from people. So if you got a well thought out profile and you're mentioning what it is you want in life, or even fun facts like about yourself that people might not know, like make it fun and interactive. And you have to make sure that your profile is it's very inviting. It makes somebody want to interact and engage with you. Because if you have a profile that's just like, I like art, I like fruit. I like food. Okay, cool. And like, imagine someone trying to come to your profile and your prompts have nothing to do with anything on, like it doesn't trigger like a response. It's just like, yeah, I just like this or whatever. I just like that. And yeah, the person that's interacting with you, they have nothing to really, I guess, engage with or respond with. Like, so of course, if they have nothing to say, they'll just say, hey, how's your weekend? Or, hey, any fun plans? Because they don't have like a certain call to action or a certain prompt that they can respond to and say, oh, hey, so-and-so, I see that you are really into this, or I saw your picture of you traveling to this and that destination. How often do you travel? Any favorite destinations? So you have to make a dating app. For those of you that are on dating apps, you have to make your app profile worth engaging with and pretty much almost creating it as an icebreaker for somebody to send you a prompt. Because I already, I can't tell you how many times I've seen on women's apps profiles, I hate when men just say, hi, how are you? Be more creative, men. Well, at the same time, give us an app prompt that's worth responding to, that is a little bit more laid out than just either, that has a prompt that has no, it's not going anywhere. It's just like a bunch of randomness and not a thought out profile. So come on, and this is for both sides. Everybody has to make sure that they're being putting way more thought and effort into building their dating app profiles. So for those of you on dating apps, definitely try hard. All right. To make sure that you have a thought out profile that's worth engaging with. Today is a great day to start your own podcast. Whether you're looking for a new marketing channel, have a message you want to share with the world, or you just think it would be fun to have your own talk show, podcasting is an easy, inexpensive, and fun way to expand your reach online. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest and best way to launch, promote, and track your podcast. Your show can be online and listed in all the major podcast directories like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more within minutes of finishing your recording. Hey, can I let you in a little secret? So I use Buzzsprout to host Situaseans podcast, and let me tell you, it has been the easiest tool I've ever come across for publishing and running a podcast. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners, and the team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. So come on, join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Follow the link in the show notes, and that'll let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. And guess what? That gets you $20 credit if you sign up for a paid plan, and overall, that helps support our show. Let's create something great together. We're about to go ahead and hop on into the next listener submission. Now, remember, I had mentioned in last week's episode that I need a name for this listener submission segment. So if any of you have a name for it, definitely let me know. DM the show so that we can possibly incorporate that cool name for the listener submission segment, because I need ideas, and I need some really good creative ideas. So DM the podcast. Let's figure it out. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on in to the next listener submission. All right, so we got a submission from another listener. So yeah, this one says, why do guys on dating apps claim they want long-term relationships, but their behavior and how they treat you on a date speak otherwise? More specifically, if you don't sleep with them on the first or second date, they lose interest or ghost you. Is physical attraction and physical chemistry the only thing they care about? What about intellectual and emotional chemistry? Instant sexual gratification seems to be the only thing a lot of guys on dating apps care about. Signed, Frustrated Woman. Hey, I absolutely 1000% feel you on this. And I definitely can see exactly where you're coming from, because this is frustrating. And, you know, and again, I've mentioned earlier that a lot of women share these frustrations with you on guys that don't put in effort, or if you're on a date and you're not giving it up by date 1 or 2. Now they're like, I'm gonna kind of just fall off and just go on to the next, to somebody that will give it up on the first or second date. And honestly, you're dodging a bullet if you decide not to continue on with that guy, because you have to respect your values, and the guy that you're going on a date with, on these dates with, they need to respect your value as well. So if they don't respect your value and they don't want to, at least wait a few dates or however long until you're comfortable, then they're not worth your time or your energy. So I think you're doing the right thing by just saying, okay, well, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to focus on, going on the next date and seeing if there's another guy out there who we can connect on and kind of level set and take it slow. So your frustrations are heard and echoed throughout a majority of women out there that are into guys. So it's you are not alone. And kind of just, like taking a step back. There are some guys out there that don't put things on their profile, or say they want this and they want a relationship, or they want something serious, and turns out once you get on that first date, they're presenting energy that says otherwise. And my theory for some of these guys, and again, this doesn't apply to all guys, but I'm just saying for a very few, I feel like there are some guys out there that'll do this, or that'll say that they want something, or they want a relationship on their profile just to get on that date with that, with somebody. So just to go on that date, and then only to see if they could kind of, sway them away towards being an item. So it's like, hey, you know what? Since a lot of women are saying they want a relationship, maybe I should just say that, because then I'll get more dates. And then when I get on that date, we can try to weigh it out and see maybe if she wants to hook up first, because that's kind of what I need in order for me to understand whether or not I want to continue on with that person. It's a fucked up mentality, but that is how some men kind of think. And even kind of just going back to what I was saying in the beginning, some guys do unfortunately need a physical connection before they can think about an emotional connection. And that type of guy, and men that think like that and that are like that, they're not for you. So you dodged a bullet. You just dodged a huge headache. And now you can focus on somebody that does align with your values. So for guys like that, I just think that sometimes in a lot of their lives, maybe they just got out of a relationship and they just want to pretty much dip their toe back in the water before they fully dive in. And so that's some cases. Other cases I've seen where it's just like a guy is just bored and he just wants a one-night stand or a hookup, and it's just like, unfortunately, now he's kind of poisoning the dating app waters with his toxicity or with his boredomness, and kind of pretty much making a lot of decent men on these apps look bad, and making it seem like all guys want this. It's like, no, not every guy on a dating app is like that, but it's like kind of like that one notion of, oh yeah, it takes a few to ruin it for everybody else. So it's unfortunate that you encountered a guy like that. Yeah, I would just highly recommend not even engaging with men that come off and give that type of energy, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't have to give up a piece of yourself for someone else to make a decision on whether or not you're acceptable to them. Like, you are valued and worth so much more than that. So don't put your values aside. Don't put anything that you want in yourself and a life partner aside for this person. Like, I've been in that situation where it's like I've put my values aside for somebody and it didn't work out. And I kind of saw it coming, or I kind of figured it would happen, but a little bit of me was like, well, if it doesn't work with this person, how would I know I'll find the next person? I don't want to have to wait another 2-3 years until I find somebody that works for me. No. You got to put all of that worry aside and focus on what it is that you want, because you're responsible for your own life. You're the main character in your story, not somebody else, not these fuckboys out here that don't give a fuck about you. So you literally are doing just fine. And I'm so glad that you felt comfortable enough to share that and share what's going on, because there are so many women out there that are literally just that are literally just clapping right now and just saying, yes, say it louder for the people in the back. Cause it's true. It's so true. And to my guys out there that's watching, like, some of fellas like that. And if you are a guy like that, I mean, and you kind of have that type of experience, if you want to submit your story to the podcast and kind of talk about it from your perspective, definitely, yes, submit to the show. This is an open platform. So, I want to hear from you as well. Like, what's your standpoint on that? Like, why are you on the dating app in general? Like, do you think, are you looking for that true connection, or are you just here to have fun? So, hey, submit it in. And again, we can have that open dialogue. But yeah, kind of just getting back to the listener. Yeah. A lot of guys do kind of want that physical attraction first, whereas a lot of women want that intellectual, emotional attraction first. And there are guys out there that want the emotional and intellectual connection first. They're just a little bit harder to find, because growing up as like a lot of straight heterosexual, identifying men that grew up kind of have that thing instilled in them, and like, oh, you gotta be tough, you gotta be a hard ass, you can't show your feelings because feelings equals weakness. And because if you show feelings, like, yeah, man, now you're a punk, and like, ain't nobody gonna take you serious or whatever. It's like, that's how some environments are for a lot of guys growing up, and that shit just sticks with them into adult life. And now they're like in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, still just acting like little fucking boys. So eventually that's going to catch up with them. And then eventually, they're going to find themselves with a lot less opportunities and matches and people in their lives that's going to want to deal with that. So, hey, you dodged a bullet, and you don't have to worry about that guy. Just let him continue to go do whatever it is, he's doing, because eventually maybe he'll find somebody, maybe he won't, who knows? But at the end of the day, it's not your problem. So yeah, I just think that maybe on the dating apps, you should probably try, what if you only filter down to guys that want a relationship, and maybe you're already doing that. And maybe even ask on a dating app. So like, when you all are chatting and you have that conversation, maybe try to like dive a little deeper into those conversations. Cause you mentioned that they put on their profile or say that they want a relationship, and then in person, they're giving this energy otherwise. Maybe dive a little deeper. Maybe try to like ask them, hey, so, where do you see yourself in 5 years as far as, your life, a potential life partner and your ambitions, and what type of connection are you looking for? If you ask that question, I feel like you'll probably be able to weed out a little bit of the guys that are just out here just lying on their profile, because now that creates now that prompts a thoughtful response from the guy to say, now he's gonna have to really think like, okay, well, what it is what do I really want? So if he's really intentional and he's telling the truth, then he's gonna, give you exactly his mindset of where he's at in his life. Now you get to see where he's at in his life, like his mindset, get a little bit of his character to cut the type of seed. You get to see you're learning about his ambitions now. And then, if it's a guy who's just like fucking around and is not taking it serious, well, they're going to end up just not even responding. So, they might just ghost, kind of like what you were just saying earlier, or they might give a half-ass response, and you can weed that shit out right then and there. So it's all about how you communicate with the people that you're matching with. So I just think that, maybe you should try going into a little bit of depthier conversations with these matches, just to try to see, okay, well, if you want if you want a relationship, or if you're looking for something, kind of tell me a little bit of like, what that looks like for you. Because now they're going to have to really think about what their next response is going to be. Because once you guys get to meeting in person, or even if you have that conversation in person, now the cards are all out on the table. Like there's nowhere for them to really hide. Now it's like, okay, well, you found out at least by the time, like either while you were on that, like in that conversation in a dating app. So now you don't have to worry about meeting up, or you find out on that first or second date or whatever. And now it's less time that you have to spend trying to like vet these people out. So definitely give it a shot. Definitely try to see and give them something to dig a little deeper with when having those interactions, to weed out the fuckboys, or weed out the people that don't have those long-term partnership goals that you have in mind. There are some heterosexual men out there that kind of have that try before you buy kind of ideology, because it's like trying to understand it from like some guys' perspectives, especially guys that I've, known in the past. Like, well, what if this person doesn't like to do this in bed, or what if they're bad in bed? And then like meanwhile in the back of my head, I'm like, well, why are you judging? Like, what if you're bad in bed? Like you might have the exact same, issues or flaws or whatever that you're worried about in the next person. So maybe you should think about yourself, and think about how you come off, and think about where you're at in your own sexual life. So it's a double-edged sword. And like there are a lot of, and this just goes for people in general. There are a lot of people out there that are on that try before you buy kind of thing. So everyone's on different types of patterns or types of likes and types of headspaces that they're in. But the whole try before you buy notion, you will see that in a lot of people. And even in other types of relationships. So even if it's a relationship that identifies as queer or otherwise, those dynamics are a little bit different. But I do see, especially the people in my circle and people that I've kind of seen, I guess from a close proximity, I've kind of seen that, it depends on the person that sets the pace. Like it's not usually one side or these specific individuals setting the pace over these other individuals setting the pace. Whereas like in heterosexual relationships, sometimes you'll see a lot more women putting in more effort, putting in more of that setting the pace than guys do. And guys are kind of like, okay, I like her. I'll try to see where this is going or whatever. And don't get me wrong, there are guys that'll set the pace and then, you know, women that'll be like, okay, I like them. I want to see where this is going. So yeah, it definitely depends. And there's so many different types of loving relationships. So no matter what type of relationship that you're in or what type of relationship or type of person that you're into or what have you, everyone is navigating the dating and relationship environment differently. And so the pace as far as who sets it, I think that should overall just be something that's agreed upon or at least talked about, because you don't want somebody setting a pace and just be like, wait, hey, like how come I don't get any input, or why are we moving like at this pace? Why are we moving too fast, or why are we moving too slow? So as far as trying to like understand and set the pace and see like where that relationship is going, no matter what type of relationship it is, I feel like pace setting and where that relationships evolve and gets into something bigger and the foundations becoming stronger, those types of dynamics should be discussed and hashed out with both people, or even in relationships where it's like 3 or more people, because there are non-monogamous relationships. And so even stuff like that is like, it has to be talked about from the beginning, especially before you get exclusive. So you have to have those conversations, be transparent, be communicative. You have to talk about it, because if you're not saying it in the beginning, that shit's going to catch up with you later down the line. And it's like, well, damn, we could have been this far, but now we're taking, one step forward and 2 steps back because this individual is saying this or is in this headspace, and that individual is in this headspace. So now we're butting heads. Now we can't figure out where to next. So have those conversations, talk about it. You have to talk with your partner and with the people that you are building these relationships with. Because if you don't talk about it, you're going to fight about it. So hash it out in the beginning so that you're not playing catch up or retroactively trying to like do damage control down the line. Thank you so much for submitting your story to the listener. And again, I want all of you to submit your story. Shawnee wants to hear from you. Let me share something with you. Let me share a quick little tidbit with you. When you share your story, it literally warms my heart. In fact, it melts my heart. It's like a nice little like drip of just feelings and emotions just all packed into that story. So when you submit your stories, it's like another like drip just like falls right onto my heart, and it just warms my heart. And I feel like I'm able to give open-ended advice. Again, I'm not a licensed counselor and I'm not a licensed therapist. And so I highly recommend you seek the help of a licensed practitioner or somebody who is a licensed professional in their field, so that you can navigate those conversations and navigate it, like in a very, in a very elevated way that, maybe necessarily I can't do, one-on-one to, like for you. So yes, definitely get professional help. Like therapy is a beautiful thing. But yeah, still submit those stories though, because like I want to, again, unpack everything that's going on with you. So submit. I want to hear and read your stories, people. Submit, please. Like each story, and like so many people have been submitting. So like, we're not I'm not like sitting here being desperate, but I'm just saying, like, it really warms my heart hearing from you because it lets me know that, hey, this show is reaching more people. So submit your story. So you can do it in 3 ways. So if you go to situationspodcast.com, situaseanspodcast.com/submit. So situationspodcast.com/submit. It'll take you right to the form. And guess what? From there, you can submit your anonymous story. Again, I won't know who submitted it if you're submitting via that way. I won't know. Like, it just goes to the form and then I just read it from the form. So submit. Or you can call our hotline and leave a voicemail. You got to call, let it ring the voicemail. And then once you hear that beep, you leave your voicemail submission. The number to that is 312-586-2664. So leave a voicemail of your submission. Come on, get involved. Yes. And then the other option is you can email your story, situaseanspod@gmail.com. situaseanspod@gmail.com. So I just gave you 3 wonderful ways to submit your story. So submit, and continue to warm my heart. It's like each submission that comes in is like a nice, it's a drip of love on my heart. So drip, 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 drip. Submit. So yes, submit your story and continue warming my heart. Drip, drip. Whether you're at home, on a train, a bus, a plane, doesn't matter. You could take Situations podcast with you wherever you go. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget, this is a video podcast. You can see me. You can interact with me and see my face on YouTube. YouTube.com/@situationspod. Like the little @ symbol, Situationspod. Situaseanspod. So if you do that, just hit the little follow button and then subscribe to the YouTube. It's free, but if you just hit the little subscribe button or whatever on YouTube and then click the little bell icon, that way you will be the first to know when a new episode drops. You nothing better than being the first to know. And then, now you're the coolest person in your group, in the group chat, because now you got the episode first and you can share it with the group chat and be like, hey, did you guys check out that new episode of Situations Pod? Oh, y'all haven't seen it yet? Oh, well, y'all should subscribe, because if you did, you would have been there first. So I'm first. Here is the video link. Check out Situations Pod. You see, get the group chat together. Let the group chat know about this show. Come on. Let's do this. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter @SituationsPod. We're on all the social sites, so go follow. And if you want exclusive content that isn't available to everybody, then you got to join the private Patreon community. And there you will see all the exclusive secret posts that not everybody can see. So that is patreon.com/situationspodcast. And get all the exclusive content and ad-free episodes that nobody else has access to. So you get to be the coolest person in your pack. So do that. Last but not least, definitely rate and review wherever you listen to this podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. Give us a rating, leave a 5-star review, because if you do that, it helps other people find this podcast, and then they submit their stories and so on and so forth. They share it with their friends, their family, their group chat. Now everybody's involved and everyone is submitting their stories, and it creates one open platform of a community of people just trying to navigate dating and life. So leave a rating and review wherever you listen to this podcast. And again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you guys in the next episode in a couple of weeks. See you there.